Hello, everyone, and welcome back to The Blitz, your weekly high school football show brought to you by First Federal Savings of Lorraine. I'm Marissa McNeese with the Chronicle Telegram, back again for week 2 with my partner Kristen Bauer behind the camera. And we have a little bit of a change of scenery today. We wanted to bring you today's show from Joe Ferment Stadium in Avon, but as the theme of the week has been, the weather did not really want to cooperate. So we brought Joe Ferment Stadium to the Chronicle Telegram studios. Now, let's talk some football. We have a lot to cover, a really exciting week 1, and why not start with the big city rivalry last Friday night, Elyria versus Elyria Catholic at Ely Stadium, a highly anticipated game that wasn't even supposed to happen this season. But the pandemic changed things around. Teams were forced to change schedules, so we got that rivalry game a year early, and it did not disappoint, especially if you are an Elyria fan, because the Pioneers pulled off an incredible 27-7 win over their crosstown rivals, Elyria Catholic, in what was really a solid performance all around for the Pioneers. Now, rain was definitely a factor in that game. It's been a factor for us all week here. It's why we're in the studio. But that's where you really saw where the adjustments and the change in game plans came into play. Rather than pass, Elyria took its game to the ground, and they could not be stopped. Running back Jaheim Atkinson, he rushed for 164 yards on 27 carries, and he wasn't the only one. The Pioneers ran all over Elyria Catholic, who just couldn't seem to find their footing all game, literally and figuratively. It was slippery, and with a team like Elyria Catholic, who relies heavily on the passing game, or seemed like they would heading into this season, it just never, with the rain, receivers could not hang on to the ball, and with a quarterback like Steven Navalinsky with a big arm, the passes just weren't coming out of his hand very easily, and it just created chaos for EC, who couldn't really adjust to what Elyria was putting on the field. It's the 4th win in the city rivalry for Elyria. The Panthers took the first win in the first game of the city rivalry, and it's been all Elyria since. And the Pioneers really needed this win. They struggled the past couple seasons, and to start off the season with a win is going to carry them, especially with a tough Greater Cleveland Conference schedule on the way. That wasn't the only exciting game we had this week. There were plenty of them, including a pair in the Lorain County League, starting with Firelands in Columbia. The Falcons pull off the 9-0 shutout win over Columbia. It's a game I had circled on my schedule at the beginning of the season. Firelands returning a lot of talent from the season before. Columbia ending last season on a really high note. 2 strong programs facing off in a league that we saw last season was full of talent and very, very competitive league. There was ties and all kinds of changes in the leader of that conference. So we knew this would be a good game. There's a lot of defense, though. Firelands did all its scoring right there in the first quarter, a safety and a 40-yard touchdown by Donald Crawford, and that was it. 9-0 was enough to get the job done in a win that's going to be really important for Firelands down the stretch in a very competitive Lorain County League. Now, on the other side, we have Keystone and Clearview. Keystone, the winners of the inaugural Lorain County League Conference Championship, beating Clearview 27-6. Gideon Lampron, the junior, what a game. Rushed for 237 yards, 2 touchdowns, and took an interception back 16 yards for a score. It was a win you expected from Keystone last year, and they carried it right over into this season, especially against a Clearview team that put up some big wins of its own last season. They were right there in the hunt for the conference title all the way to the end. We knew this would be a tough game, but Keystone to come out 27-6 really shows that that's a team. They lost a lot of athletes from last season, but they really carried it over into this season. So far, not missing a beat. Now, the big game we have to talk about got delayed a day, but it was worth it if you were able to tune in. Avon Lake, a rivalry we all look forward to every season, and this year did not disappoint. Week 1, Avon pulls off the double overtime win over Avon Lake on the road. Avon trailing 24-7 at halftime. But I've said it before, that's a team you can never count out. I watched the game. I've listened on WEOL the whole way through. Couldn't make it out there, but I had a feeling that game wasn't over, and as usual, I was right. After trading field goals back and forth, Avon forces the game to double overtime. where quarterback Nico Pappas hits Cam Erskine wide open for a 20-yard touchdown, caps off the comeback win, the Week 1 rivalry win over Avon Lake, and sets up what is likely to be another exciting meeting between these two teams. If regions stay as is, as we talked about last week, things are going to look a little different come playoff time, but these two teams always seem to find a way to meet each other again in the postseason. And after what we saw this past week, I can only hope they meet again. I will absolutely be there in person for that one. Will not miss it again. A couple other notable games. We had Amherst beating North Ridgeville 35-0. Olmsted Falls pulls off the win over Midview 34-7. And Wellington, a big win over Black River 17-7. All teams getting Week 1 wins to start 2020. We didn't get to do this last week at the start of the season, but it's now that time in the show where we bring you our Team of the Week, brought to you by First Federal Savings of Lorain. Mentioned a lot of big wins this week, a lot of teams worthy of this award. This was tough, but gotta give it to the hometown Elyria Pioneers, pulling off a really big win over Elyria Catholic, and not by accident. They played well on all sides of the ball. They ran well. They played great defense everywhere from the line, the quarterback, the backs. Everyone contributed to that win for Elyria. It's a big win for the program. Really good confidence booster heading into conference play. As we know, that's a conference that features teams like Menor, Medina, Brunswick. They're going to face their share of adversity this season. So to start off a win like that for Elyria gives them our First Federal Savings of Lorain Team of the Week. Let's look ahead at what we've got coming Week 2. Most of us aren't going to be able to be in attendance, as we know, so let's see what we've got on WEOL for those of you to tune in at home. On the radio, you will have Keystone at Columbia, what is sure to be another really great Lorain County League matchup. Over on Stream 2, WEOL.com, we have Amherst at Midview, an SWC matchup between two really good programs. And for our Medina County matchup over on Stream 3, we have Medina at Brunswick, and that is all on WEOL.com. Now this week, we also have another Saturday game, but this one was planned. Saturday, Clearview will face Oberlin, and this will be played at Elyria's Ely Stadium at 1 p.m., and you can hear that on WEOL. That's going to do it for our Week 1 wrap-up on the Blitz. A lot to talk about, and I hope this season can keep going. Let's stay safe so we can have a football season, so I can talk to you again next week. For all of us here at the Blitz, I'm Marissa McNeese, and make sure this week you pick up your copy of the Blitz. It's got all of your recaps from all of our Chronicle Telegram reporters. Tons of great info in here. Make sure you grab yours every Saturday. From the Blitz, I'm Marissa McNeese. We'll see you next week.